Hello everybody, it is May 6, 2013, and it's Monday. Yeah, that's what it is. And this is Team Fortress Lessons with Atomsk. That's me. Let's see, I was planning on doing the entire Grand Final set today, but that looks like it's going to run kind of long. Like, I just watched the first match of it, and it's so long. Like, the first round of it is like 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. So we're just going to watch that first round of the last set on Badlands, and we're going to watch Tagarung's POV again. And I'm kind of happy that we're going to do that because live viewers know that Team Fortress Lessons number 25, I believe, was horribly riddled with lag, and I haven't uploaded it to YouTube yet because I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. So we're going to give Tag another shot at making it into the lesson. It was 24? Okay. Oh, I should probably change the title of my stream. Team Fortress Lessons number 26, I hope. Anyway. Yeah, so for those of you watching on YouTube, I implore you once again to please join my Steam group so that you know when it's going live, because it's really a big hassle for me to go pull your comments so that I can have questions to answer at the end. And I want to answer your guys' questions, and really I think this would be more helpful to you guys live, because me just randomly like stating the stuff that I think of while watching this is not as helpful as like you guys watching it with me and, you know, thinking like, no, why did he do this specifically, and, you know, asking me and having an answer at your fingertips. That being said, are there any other announcements? So yeah, tomorrow we're gonna wrap up the LAN. It'll be the last round of the last set, and then we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled stuff, which is nothing. I have nothing scheduled. I've got a few demos from Unf, and he agreed to come onto the show and talk to me while we watch the demos, which is awesome because he's an incredible demo man. And I'm going to try and get back to, you know, watching some of your guys' stuff, like watching some like lower level competitive play and answering the questions about it. Yes, I saw James. What else? I don't know. Let's get into this demo. Oh, let's actually look at the stats for the match first. Monitor 1, pull this up, watch my stream. Okay, yeah. So, on the match, or in this round, Tagarung top fragged, put out 11,000 damage, got 42 kills, died 27 times. He died a lot. But, you know, he was roamer, and we'll see that a lot. But he got 42 frags. The next highest on his team was 33. Platinum went pretty ham on the, you know, on mix-up on the losing side, getting 34 frags and putting out 12,000 damage, but he's playing pocket. I think this is really impressive roamer play. I watched through the game a bit, and I think what I'm going to focus on is, you know, the big roamer choice is, do I suicide for the medic to create an advantage for my team, or do I stay alive to be a numbers advantage for my team during the push? And it's all based on the situation. It's a contextual read by Tag, and we're going to try and delve into his mindset, you know, what he was thinking and how he read the game in order to make that choice. So let's get over into the Tag cam. Let me turn on some volume. Yeah. There we are. Alright, let's speed through this first rollout. There's going to be a lot of fast forwarding in this game, I'm just going to let you know now. Because, especially this first round, like, HRG holds their last forever. It's insane. So, first mid-fight, we get the double soldier bomb. And he's focusing choke, and he sort of gets, you know, shot down by the scouts before he can do anything. And we're not really going to focus too much about the mid-fights. It's going to be the subsequent situations created by the mid-fights that we're going to focus on. So he respawns, and both medics died at the mid-fight. So he's just... They lost their mid. They lost the midpoint. And what they want to do is just hold last, basically. And I'm literally just going to hold down the fast forward button. Another suiciding scout. Deflects that. He's really just concentrating on holding his doors. And putting out a bit of spam. Trading players once again. Like, neither team can seem to get an advantage here. They dropped their pocket. Are they going to drop to last on that? They're already down to 6 minutes on the clock, which is ridiculous. They've been holding this point for 5 minutes? No, 4 minutes now. Finally, the Uber comes in. It looks like they dropped Shade, and that's why. I love the fire your last rocket and then pull out your escape plan to try and dodge their last rocket, and then ruin taunt on the point for the quick win. Yeesh. Speeding through the second rollout, we're actually going to get into the meat of the game now. Sees the deep bomb. Important thing to note: he sees the enemy soldier bomb onto their side, like where his medic is, and he trusts that his scout and pocket soldier can do their job to defend Shade, and he goes on his offensive mission, which now as it turns out, they did not defend Shade, but that doesn't mean that you're allowed to not do your job. Manages to pick up Harb, so he does his job. Perfect. Him stalling out in the middle of his jump and trying to come back to defend Shade probably would not have saved him. But staying alive and then jumping the med did save them the round. You'll notice that right now they have an Uber advantage, but they don't really know that. They know that they have Uber, and that their enemy has Uber. So his concentration at that point is to just hold the flanks and try to prevent Shade's Uber from being risked by anything. Now that they have a numbers advantage, he's starting to get a little more aggressive. Hears that the Ubers have gone off, and just plays out of the fight. Doesn't want to attract too much attention to himself. Sees that, he probably gets a comm that one of his players went down. So he's getting defensive again. There wasn't really an opening there for him to get offensive. And because he stayed alive, he could have bombed earlier. He could have bombed their whole team like that. But he chose to escape and wait for respawns and wait for an opening and then come back in. And that allowed him to get a big demo pick, which sort of created this cascade that you see now where Harbo is the only person alive.
The control point is being contested.
And they really should have had advantage, but I guess they don't. So they're going to suicide in tag, which is, it's a thing that people do on this map. Suicide their roamer to try and force the Uber. And nothing's really going to come of that. They're just going to... Because, 5v6 isn't enough to push out of last on. And that's why teams feel comfortable doing that. The positional advantage of red over blue at this point right now, if Blue wanted to push out and take Spire, the positioning advantage is just too good for HRG for them to do so. So they try suiciding Tag in again. He gets air shot and poopied on, and there, nothing happens with it. But I guess HRG spammed in during the suicide and got a couple of picks. So now they're really duking it out. And Tag's just like, alright, I want to get to the fight as fast as possible. Takes some high ground, sees everything on the point, and just goes for it. Big 3K, end of round. That's another reason that people do those suicide plays, is because it sort of baits the enemy team into like trying to use their advantage when really it's not enough. Harb with a terrific surf. Tag gets sort of shit on there. Okay, so as you can see, mix-up wiped there, and Shade has 100% Uber advantage, essentially. So he's going to get to the front lines as soon as possible, and his focus is going to be maintaining Shade's advantage. Holding chokes and getting intel and making sure he doesn't die or nothing gets past him. He doesn't want to go in to make a play because they already have big advantage. He's holding his choke right now because he knows his combo is doing a flank push. Sees the soldier in garage and has to call it out. He's going for choke. Hopefully his combo knows about that soldier, and they do. They turn around and blast it. Because of the intel that he got hanging behind and covering the area that his combo wasn't at. Had that soldier just gone through house undetected, he probably would have gotten Shade, the medic. Now they have a numbers advantage that is going to last for about 10 seconds now, and a big Uber advantage. And they could push on either, but it looks like they're probably going to wait for the Uber. Tag just choosing to go in on a route that's not being, focused with the Uber. Demo is a really important class here, so he tries to focus him, but his pocket takes him out. Lansky gets the big wind stick on Ruin, playing heavy, and they take another round. And I want to emphasize how important Tag's positioning at second was to that last push. If they had lost Shade at any point, Mixup would have been able to take, a significant Uber advantage and held their last a lot easier than, not having Uber against Uber. This time he delays his bomb after his pocket and sort of gets his eye drawn by the enemy roamer or pocket, and I'd say if he had curved it left, maybe even like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of bombing from here onto point. That's just like begging to get focused. But if he had taken it over and into their valley, but regardless, he's spawning now. So this time they know that they have, a significant disadvantage. So he's coming out to second. Gets a soldier pick. He was probably looking for the medic there, but, Harp wasn't anywhere near. And look, he's staying behind because look how much cap is on that point. Like, they can afford to leave him behind because they're like about 3 players up. But if there is like a scout that just stood on this point, and he leaves the moment that the center cap overtakes the Spire cap, which means that even if a player got on Spire, them stacking mid would have beaten it. So now he's here and ready right when they want to push. Okay. Crits comes in. They thought they had Uber advantage, but, Harb made the good crit switch. And instantly, his Demo Man and his medic go down. So, he basically hides, waits a couple seconds. He needs to equalize the Uber advantage, and that's exactly what he does. Like, once your medic is dead, your priority is making their medic dead too. Like, not at last, but certainly at mid. That's very important because you're not going to be able to hold your last if that doesn't happen. Let me pull this out to the side. huge advantage, huge number advantage, and Uber just proceeds through the flank route, clearing the way, making sure that nothing's going to flank their med. So far, executing his job perfectly. Gathering some intel, gives the gray bridge call. They're not holding choke. At least not with their medic. Okay, here comes 30% advantage. Like I've explained before, every second that they wait on this, it becomes, you know, not an advantage. Ugh. So that was kind of like a terrific play by Mix-Up. They kited that Uber perfectly and then just re-aggressed on them right after it was over. Ugh. That's a terrible feeling, because as a roamer you have no influence over what happens in that situation, really. Other than, like, getting ahead of your team and taking their medic, which was not what he wanted to do, really, in that situation. So now they're in a big disadvantage situation, and somebody has to do something to mitigate that. Look at this prediction rocket. Well, I know they're going to come out and try and stop me. And just forwards back. Now they're a man down, and they will have a much easier time, you know, like, dealing with this if they push in. But they choose not to. They choose to wait for the respawn. And, yeah. YC comes up scout. Oh, they were on crit still. Yeesh.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
Ooh, the back cap is so close.
Alert. The control point
You can see, like, Tag doesn't even, he's like, doesn't even feel comfortable pushing out with the point that close to being capped. Shoots his feet on accident while on Spire, but then gets the air shot. I think we all know how that feels. Spire is, like, weird to shoot rockets down.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
But yeah, go back and emphasize that getting that scout pick was just the little bit that they needed to delay that push or force the enemy into pushing 5v6 with slight Uber advantage, which is really risky because if HRG had gotten Uber while they were pushing, then they would have crushed it because they were already a man down. Now he's going to spawn, and the read is we have big Uber advantage. So you can see he just proceeds to the flank route, checks the corners, doesn't want anything flanking his medic, popping early. I think we just saw this happen, actually. Here comes the crits, and so he just hides from it. Crits v Uber is going on right now. Where's the... Yeah, see? So... he knows, where's Tag? He knows that he's, like, doesn't want the Uber flashed on him so his team can fight more effectively, and he doesn't want to die during the crits, so he just hid in the closet there. This kind of sucks, they get caught out, but I think his team's going to clean it up.
Alert. Our control point is being captured. Time has been added.
Well, I guess not. I would guess that really his team didn't do enough with their Uber. All they did was go, oh, Uber, or crits, let's pop Uber so we don't die. And really they needed to be like, lol, crits, let's kill them all. I'm not sure what happened, but, you know, playing from the Tag's POV, it's not really of concern. What we need to know now is that it's crits v Uber once again, so what do we do as roamer? That's what we're wondering about. Look how long he delays this. He knows that they're probably not going to push because they need a pick or they need to force the Uber. So he's free to delay this hiding spot as long as he wants. And once he's probably going to get a scout pick, but since nothing came down, he came out, he jumped the med, and he got the force on because he knew they were still on Kritzkrieg. So the Uber comes out. Great play by Tag, basically. Like, terrific game sense. That, as a roamer, is something I've never tried. I've never tried hiding in main and waiting until, like, they are reasonably sure that nothing's behind them, and then just sort of taking that walk. The chat is being kind of hilarious at the moment. Yeah, I don't really know why Tag pushed out there. I would say that was a mistake, just in general, just the positioning error. I guess he felt pressured to make that move because Crit's advantage is coming up, I think. No, it's just Uber advantage. I guess Shade died at some point. Pyro trying to mitigate that. Wow. So close. Oh, right. This is Harblu's big moment. No! And the taunt. So, bit of a flub there, but won't hold it against him. Harb is like the best medic in the game. So, let's speed through this rollout. Sees the medic beam, so he jumps right over the crate. Oh, wow. Barely doesn't get that med pick. Where? I guess somebody else picked it up. Basically, why it's important to bomb as roamer, regardless of whether you get work done or not. You know, this jump right here, onto the medic. First of all, he forced the medic out of mid, so all the heals were gone. Basically, it was the same as a med pick. There were no heals on mid for mix-up. And secondly, like, all these eyes turned to him, and his team was able to shoot everybody in the back. It's kind of rough as roamer if you don't have a team that will take advantage of that, but if you do, if you're on the team that wins invite, you're probably going to have players that do that. So, right now Harblu has humongous advantage, so let's see how Tag, you know, does his decision making based off that. He's going to spam this doorway like he's been doing. He's basically in charge of flank push. And there, he calls it, and he refuses to get picked by this. Once they start ignoring the door, he knows that they're gone. Jumps behind through house. Picks up the 2K there. Starts sharking for more plays. His team cleans up the rest. Lansky going huge. Finds the medic. Cleans him up. Complete wipe. No need to stay at Spire, because everyone is dead. Just stack mid.
The control point is being captured.
So, that was a clear example of what to do when they have Uber advantage. Just stay alive. Play after the Uber. Now he's playing conservative. His medic has big Uber advantage. Look at him checking all the flank routes, like the doors out of house and stuff. The reason for that is because he wants to maintain the advantage that they already have. He wants to get more ahead. Air shot. Well, wall shot on the spy. Not something you can usually say. Demo bombs him while he has 1 rocket and 100 health, so he chooses to go for the kit. Very smart play. Whiffs his jump, so he chooses to go after the soldier instead, because the speed is really important on the last push. So he was going up to try and go back cap while they were contesting Spire, but once he missed the first one, he decided to just fight Spire.
The control point is being captured.
Oh, the 2K rocket on the scout. Sizer cleans it up. Great half. So I'm going to try and speed through. I remember it was 130,000. It was a decently long halftime.
Alert. The control point is being captured. Alert. The control point is being contested.
Second half starting. They're now on blue. Speed through this rollout. Alright, mid-fight. Fires the pre-rocket against the wall. Get the demo man, hopefully. Cleans up that scout before the jump. I'm always a huge fan of delayed jumps. But, you know, that was the only kill he got, and it didn't really work out for him. I think he should have focused on the demo. He was kind of in a weak position there. Like, with his scout with him, I think they could have taken the demo man, and, you know, it would have been better for them. Because then he could have done many other things instead of getting focused. But mid-fights are kind of crazy. That's true, there are no questions, but I will continue to look for them. So, huge advantage out of Harb. What does Tag do? Oh, well, they got forced, so maybe fall back to last with your medic? Seems like a prudent plan. Yeah, hold last with advantage.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
There's the force. What the heck happened to Shades Uber? I'm so confused right now. Wow, that is the worst feeling ever. It's when you put out 6 rockets and get 0 kills because the damage got spread against like a bunch of people. Ugh. So, Mix-Up manages to tie it up, but we're gonna see 2 quick rounds out of HRG. Wow, I accidentally skipped over that mid-fight. But we're not focusing on the mid-fight today, so I'm not going to go back. We're focusing on the subsequent decision-making from the mid-fights. So both medics died, so there's not really an advantage to be had here in this situation. So he's just going to hold the flank.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
Actually, it looks like Harblue got up a little first, or they're building better, so they have advantage, but they may not know it. Playing pretty conservatively at this point. Doing his normal doorway shoots. Starts peeking in. I guess it's... Oh, it's the crit push. Bombs in. The most important part of that bomb in is the call that he bombed in. I guarantee the moment he jumped out of that house, he called, "I'm bombing their combo." And that's when the scout and the pocket soldier, they come out to get aggressive and clean up off of Tag's damage. Now with their med gone, all they have to do is play heals. There's the Uber. That wouldn't have gone nearly so well if Tag hadn't been using, you know, his excellent communication skills. And gets the pick on Harb, and looks like he's going to get out alive with it. Yep, there, the heals on him. Mix-Up seems to be having a huge problem watching house. Calls the sticks in house. Okay. He led that push with that bomb. Like, it wasn't a real bomb. It was a distractionary, everyone shoot at me bomb. And he just curved back onto battlements. And look how his team floods in after the push. Like, he's got 100 health, but his team just comes in and takes this clean. That's one of the, like, kind of unspoken, like, strengths of the gunboats, is that you don't have to sacrifice a lot of health to make movements like that. Distractionary movements. Okay, Uber advantage comes up for Shade. Looks like they're pushing Diag with it. Oof. Yeah, and so so what happened there is the HRG combo pushed into house like this, and somebody on the flank called that they were doing that. So Harblue called to just push mid. They just pushed into it. But they ran into Tag and a scout, and so the Tag was able to delay them and hold them right here while his combo just pushed around and flanked, and they were caught between the roamer and the pocket, and they just cleaned up everything that pushed the choke. And they were only able to do that because they Tag was in such good position. He was holding what at that point was then the flank. Oh, and another double scout kill rocket. But yeah, it's really important that you understand that having the roamer like hold the flank doesn't always mean the same route. Once their combo pushes what used to be the flank, his area is now, you know, the choke. And if you weren't there, they would have just pushed onto mid and had like a weird reverse mid fight. But instead, they were caught in like an excellent, you know, sickle and hammer. Hammer and anvil, I mean. Oh, and then they managed to force the Uber out of Harb, and so they're just going to push in with full advantage here. This round's over. Put a fork. Wow. This round's over. Put a fork in it. I'm so good at word. So it should be one last mid fight. See if he does anything interesting in this one. Decides to bomb their roamer, which is weird play, but it's probably going to work out for them. Rebombs mid into their house. Whew. Okay, so what happened here is that they have more fragging classes, but their medic is still alive. And he probably would have aggressed on that if he hadn't whiffed his jump a little bit, but that's okay. They're going to take mid off of it, but because of the fact that Shade went down, they have full disadvantage. And Harblue is going to try and... Harblue. Mix-Up is going to try and push mid off of the advantage. Now that all their spawns have come into play, that's why Tag is hiding in like this forward spot, and the rest of his team is hiding back. You see his meta beam back there? Tag is in charge of forcing the Uber. And there he goes. Gets the drop off of Harb. Excellent, excellent play and decision making. Fortunately, Sizer also died in that push, so Mix-Up is going to make the decision to get like really aggressive at this point, and they're going to clean up. Good job, chat. Calling me out on my horrible metaphors. Ooh, not terrific. Do. Ubers are going to be about equal. I don't know why Tag is hiding here in particular. Yeah, he comes out, I guess, has a change of heart about his positioning. Speed this up. Ooh. Kind of a grody sack. But HRD manages to pull a better Uber out of it. Looks like it's just a reset. Each player or each team dropped a soldier and then reset Ubers. Get scout pick. Oh yeah. So here's that what I was talking about before with him with Tag not in position over here. Like they got into mid clean, and so it was more of like a really messy fight. Who has red hair?
Alert. The control point is being captured.
Ah! Yeah, honestly, Tag's not doing a lot at this point. Like, he's running into like these bad fights, but you know, I can't fault him that for playing 7 rounds prior to this really, you know, kind of perfectly. Gets the med pick, but all of his other fragging classes go down except for Banny. So Shade is just running for his life. Barely manages to make it out of last. And so this probably 50% advantage is going to come into play. But they're taking Spire off it.
Time has been added. Alert. The control point is being captured.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Excellent. They're 1 up now. great flank. I'm not really sure actually what triggered that decision,
Control point is being
but
detected.
he was in the right place at the right time, so I can't fault him for it. I would have to say that Tag's knowledge of the game is just a little better than mine at that point. Like, I don't know why he did that. What the decision making for criteria was. So yeah, that is round one of that set. Of course my hair is brown. Well, I mean, it's not brown, it's like dirty blonde. That's why my beard is so light colored. I'm gonna go to the YouTube video for the comments for the last YouTube video, and we're going to pull up the comments there and see if there were any questions about what we watched last night, which was Hard Blues medicing and Seagulls pocketing. That's right, I remember now. No, there were no questions. Do you find folks in the Twitch chat have any questions about what we just saw? That guy Tag. We were watching your POV at Badlands from the last the last round of LAN, and we were analyzing it, and we were all trying to learn from your excellent play. This is Team Fortress Lessons with Atomsk. This is a show that I do where we try to learn from good players like you, Tag. Welcome to the show. Right now I'm asking the chat if they have any questions about the game that we just saw. And really the focus from tonight was when you chose to suicide or do like an aggressive play to gain advantage for your team, and when you chose, or not chose, but when you saw that you already had advantage and you played conservative to try and keep the advantage for your team, the uber advantage. So I think we had actually a pretty good lesson tonight, so there's that. It seems that the chat is mostly just starstruck with having you in here. They don't seem to have any questions about what we just saw. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's like the perfect ending to the show anyway. So we're gonna say goodnight about that. Just another quick reminder: there is a Steam group, so you can get alerts when the show goes live, and know ahead of time what the schedule is. The VOD is going to be on my YouTube channel. Just search TF2 Atomsk in Google and you'll find it. That's it. I'm going to go screw. You coming into the chat totally just threw my train of thought for a loop, so we're calling it. Have a good night, guys.